So as we're drawing closer to the end of the year, it's time for us to actually start kind of planning for our next round of gardening. Now, even though it's definitely not time to start stuff in a lot of areas here where we're at in Arizona, it's a Zone 9B. We get started pretty early. As a matter of fact, the tomatoes that we actually had earlier this year, we started in February. Along with that, one of the ideas is to start growing some herbs indoors. That way, maybe we can figure out a way to keep certain herbs pretty much going at almost all times. And one of those, of course, is thyme. I've actually had a hard time growing it out here. I get it to go for a little bit and then it just dies off. And I think it's too dry and it gets too hot out here. So with that in mind, as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do as far as the herb growing, because we don't do indoor plants. We don't really have house plants per se. But RainPoint reached out with another system they asked me to take a look at and show all y'all out here. And it turns out it's something that'd be perfect for indoor plants, or even if you have like a small greenhouse. It's perfect. It's another watering system. Now, if you've seen our previous video where we used their 2-zone smart system, which I still actually use even now, it's a great system. This is the same company. And what's going to be nice is because I already have their 2-zone smart system, adding it to the app is going to be super easy. So we'll walk through all of that. And the other part of this, and this is where it'd be really handy when it comes to using this within a greenhouse, it also has solar power. So let's go ahead, let's start unboxing this, and let's take a look at what we actually have going on inside the box here. So as before, nice simple box. Let's open this up. Right off the bat, we've got, let's see what we got here. We've got another card here. They actually want you to start sending in your photos. And of course, it's a 3-year warranty. First box here is, this is the mini hub. With the smart system, of course, that was that big digital hub. This right here is just a little mini hub. And you've got a USB Type-C connection to, of course, your standard USB here. You have all of your documentation as far as your quick start guide. Got our user manual. Here's an after sales service card, which of course this is a 1-year limited warranty that's printed on here. Gives you that information. And then of course, user manual for the solar irrigation system. So a lot of the same kind of documentation that we had with the previous one. Obviously this is going to be pointed directly at this device. Now we're getting down to the good stuff here. Alright, so right off the bat, we got this little bag. This is all your little T connectors. This is actually similar to what we use on our drip system. Of course, these are clear. The one we use is black. But it's the same kind of an idea. So you've got the barbed ends. This is where your hosing goes. Alright, so we got another little bag here. Got another cable. Another USB Type-C, and then of course you have your actual watering stakes here. Next is going to be the actual solar system here. So this, of course, is your solar system here. Remember to take this little plastic tab out of here. This goes right in here. Pull that tab out. You got the 2 little connections that go. We'll pull that out here in just a little bit. It's got this hook on the back, so you can actually put it on like a railing or something like that. or of course it can also work as just a stand. And then of course you've got water line here, little tubings, like a 1/4 inch tubing. So obviously if you have extra of this, you can use that if you need it. This looks to be probably a good fair amount here. So there we go. Alright, so now that we got everything unboxed here, let's go ahead and actually just set this up real quick. Get the pump going. And we're going to do a quick little setup on what will be our indoor herbs. So the first thing we're going to do is, remember that little piece of plastic I told you about earlier. We're just going to go ahead and get that out of there. That way, this is your battery, by the way. It's a lithium ion rechargeable battery. There's your USB port to manually charge it. Just going to go ahead and connect that. As you see, this starts lighting up here. So let's go ahead and open up our HomeGar app. Now, if you don't have the app already, you can go and download it from the Google Play Store. And then, of course, you'll want to go through the instructions, go through the steps right here. That's on the Quick Start Guide. Download the app. And then, of course, you'll go through the steps of connecting the Mini Hub. Now, we already have a system installed, the Smart system, and so we already have a hub for that and already have the app as well. So we're just going to go ahead, probably can't see it because of the glare, but we're going to go ahead, click the plus sign, which is going to be up in the upper corner here. So after we get it connected here, there's an icon you'll see that's for watering pump. I'm going to go ahead and connect that, and there you go. So when you first put in the batteries, it'll start flashing red. Go to your app, select the water pump, select next, it will pair, and now it's on. And now, just like before, you can actually set your plan. But before we go through all that, let's go ahead and actually set up the watering pump and system so that we can actually start pumping water here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of hang this off to the side. Actually, I'm just going to set this off to the side here. And let's start getting our tubing together. So on the side here, you've got in, you've got out. So the in is going to be obviously going from the bowl of water to the pump, and it's going to go out of the pump to the hoses that is connected for your watering to the actual plants themselves. So back to our little bag here, a couple things we're going to be looking at. One, of course, is our filter. And the other one is basically a backflow check valve. Now you'll see that one side's kind of flat, the other side is kind of rounded out. Think of it like an arrow. The rounded outside is the flow. So if you look at this like an arrow, flat side, rounded out. So that water flow goes this way. Now with all your connections here, there's a couple different types that you have here. That way, no matter what your setup is, you should have what you need. If not, again, this is all 1/4 inch tubing, and you can go to any hardware store that has watering supplies for drip irrigation, things of that nature, and you'll be able to find similar replacements. Or obviously you can go to RainPoint and check out their website as well. So you have these little T's here. You've got just straight connections. You got a little 4-way connection. And then these are little end stoppers. That way, once you get to the end of the line, you put this in so the water doesn't just spill out everywhere. First thing I'm going to do is just take the filter. I'm going to put it right on the end of the hose. The hose is actually just going to fit right inside of the filter here. And this part goes obviously into your water. Now you will need a separate container for your water. We're just using a bowl at the moment. You can get creative and find a tank if you want to. Go from there. We're just using this bowl for now. This is the side that's going to get submerged into the water. So I'm going to just kind of give myself a little bit slack. Try to cut this straight. Now we're going to add our check valve. This, of course, the hose goes onto the outside of that connection. Takes a little bit of finagling, but you can get it on there. And that part's done. Then we just need a little bit that's going to go from here to our pump. Same thing, just connect it. You have to kind of work it on there. Just like that. And then from here goes to in. Now, as far as the outside, everybody's is going to be just a little bit different. Depending on how many plants you're watering, what kind of setup you're using, whether or not you're going to have like a shelf that's got layers and layers. Your setup's going to be different from pretty much everybody else. So how much tubing you're going to need, how many connections you're going to need, is all going to vary. Again, we're just showing this just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to give myself some slack here again, connect to the out. All right, so again, this is just demonstration purposes. So this is the part that goes into your pot. This is the part that actually delivers the water to your plant. Now, again, depending on your setup, like I said before, everybody's going to be different. Will depend on how many of these connectors that you have to use, how much line you need to use. This is just for demonstration. So I'm just going to connect this right here. Within the Home Gar app, you can set various plans. And literally you just click on plan. You're going to add, and you'll set up how long, the duration, how often, as far as like repeat every day, and you'll just go from there. Or you can do a manual watering, in which case there's this button with a little hand on it that looks like it's pressing the button. We're just going to press that, and there it goes. It's just pumping it right in there, and you would just have this right in the dirt like that. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, I'm going to turn this off. Same thing, you just push that button, turns it off. So if you want to do it manually, you just do it like that. Now, another thing is, if you have this set up in the sun, once again, this is a solar panel. So this will charge that battery. If you happen to have an area that this is going to be at that, again, you don't really have a lot of sun going to it, you pull the battery out, you connect it with your USB connection that comes with it, and you charge it. It is that simple. Now, to make it everything even more simple, if I didn't mention it earlier, we, of course, already have the smart system, which means we have the smart hub that our system came with. Now, because we already have that system, we didn't actually need to use the hub that came with this, the little mini hub. We can actually connect this to the smart hub, which means if you already use one of RainPoint's systems that has a hub, you can use that. So once again, we didn't need to. So now, instead of just the left and right valves that I have for my drip system, I now have the pump here Also, all I had to do was just add that device. Now, of course, if you don't have one and you have to use that hub, connecting it is super simple. Again, it's as simple as just following the instructions here. It's pretty much the same setup as far as connecting the hub, whether it be this mini hub or that smart hub. You do it all from your app. You look for your hub and you connect it. And again, it's that easy. It's going to take you possibly longer just to figure out your design and where you want to place your plants than it is to actually implement this watering system. Also, here's just a little tidbit from my own personal experience. This is with using that smart system, which all of this, of course, is connected through the app, which is connected through your Wi-Fi. We recently swapped out modems, and because of that, the devices got kicked off the Wi-Fi connection. However, they continued operating at the preset times, the plans that I had in place prior to them losing connection. Now, of course, with the new modem came with a whole new connection password and everything else that needed to be set up. And yet my watering system continued, and it continued with the schedule I had in place. And so to get everything back on, all I had to do was go back and reconnect them to the app with the current Wi-Fi information, as far as your device name and the password. So keep that in mind. From my own personal experience, you can lose connection, and if you already have those plans in place, it will continue using those plans. Now, again, you'll have to reconnect it to the Wi-Fi to get it to use the app. But the fact that we lost that connection to the devices and it continued going is amazing. Now, here's another thing with this particularly. This would come in great not only for your house plants, but if you're like with us, we're going to be trying to do herbs and grow, things inside of that nature. If you had a greenhouse, once again, you could use it in there. Now, this is listed for indoor use only, so you want it inside like a greenhouse, or you want it inside your actual house. You don't want it out in the elements. It's not actually designed for that. However, whether it's a greenhouse, indoor plants, you can control the watering to those plants how you see fit. You can get pretty precise with it. On top of that, let's say you're going to be out of town for the weekend or so. You just make sure you have enough water here. You make sure that you've got a good charge, or you have solar, or you have sunshine that your solar panel's going to, and this is going to take care of that watering for you. All you really need to do once you get it all set up is make sure that this is getting power, and make sure that your container has water, and that's it. Now, so far, we've really loved the RainPoint smart watering system. I'm sure we're going to love this one as well. So if you're interested in checking this out, you can go to their website, which I'll have all the links and everything down in the description below. I'll also tag a comment down below as well with those links. It's rainpointonline.com. And for a limited time, up until February 29th, you can actually get 10% off if you use code SCOOPS10OFF. I'm going to put this on the screen right here. I'm also going to put it in the description, and I'm also going to put it in that pinned comment. That way, you go over there, you put this in the cart, you use that code, get you 10% off until, again, February 29th. And that's going to really do it for us. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you for checking this out with us. I think we're going to have a lot of use out of this. Thank you, RainPoint, for giving us the opportunity to check out your new device here. Once again, knocked it out of the ballpark. So thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.